Hi everyone and welcome for this long-awaited new project. It is going to be a space theme again, and I was challenged for it from Suzana from LeRez Expressions. I'm going to use her pigments for this as well, which I've also linked down below in the video description. You've seen me using her pigments a couple of projects now. I'm so in love with the teal and her white, so I really recommend you give this a try as well. And Suzana has actually challenged me to make a resin puddle pour, which I've never done before, and I was so amazed to see how it works, and therefore she challenged me to give it a try. As you can see in the beginning of the video, we are starting off not with the space itself, but with a swipe. And the swipe is done for the planet part of my space scene. I kind of used this approach for most of my space scene topics where I have planets added, because it feels kind of genuine to do it this way. What I'm doing here, I'm just having a transparency, which is from the office store, and I'm making a regular pour, silicone included, with many colors on this clear piece of plastic. You can actually use whatever you like to use. It should be non-absorbent though, to not warp. And yeah, this plastic seemed to be the best choice because it's pretty thin, it's water resistant, and you can put it aside to dry because it takes quite a long time to dry. And this is the reason why I did this the first. You can go crazy with whatever color you use. I also used very strange colors for it. When it comes to planets in space, everything looks kind of cool in the end. But then let's turn over for the project canvas itself. It's a 50 by 50 centimeter canvas. As you can see, it's a reused one. I tried a Dutch pour on it, which failed, and I didn't really like the end result so much. And so I decided to paint over it, and as the paint already had some cracks from the previous layer, it was a no-no making another pour over it, so I went for the resin. But to give it a dark background already, I just used the black 2.0, painted over it to make it an even black background. Once this was done and dried, I mixed up my resin. I'm using the Mastercast resin here along with the pigments from Suzana, so the LeRez Expressions. Again, it's the teal and the white. And besides of these two colors, I also mixed in a hot pink resin pigment from Leslie from Color Art, which I was not really sure if it shows up in the end, but if some purple peeks through the teal, it might look cool as well. So I just want to see how this one turns out. And besides this, of course, I added some black pigments to the resin as well, just for the space part. As a post and challenge from Suzana, I puddled them in a puddle. I just put everything over each other and used my heat gun and hairdryer to blow everything around on the canvas. boom! I was so happy how this one turned out. It really was striking cool. I loved the small cells that have created due to the white edit. I loved how some of the purple just came through the edges, which looked really pretty. Over the moon with this one at this stage. Of course, as it was only very little of the resin, a reused canvas where I had silicone on there underneath of the paint pretty much stretched. It was not an even coat, so I had some dents and holes and everything was in there when it comes to texture, which of course I didn't want to have in the final piece. So the final piece was supposed to be completely even, glossy and shiny. But as this was only the first stage, everything was fine and pretty for me at this stage. We turn it back to the entry scene where I made a swipe, which had dried in the meanwhile. So as you can imagine, 2 days have passed and it was time to make my planet out of this swipe. Good thing, if you have a large enough piece of plastic, you can make a large one and can cut out as many planets as fit in there. For my project here, I wanted the planet to sit in an edge of the painting, so I just went for that area of my swipe which I thought might fit the best when it comes to color, cut it out, placed it onto my artwork to see if it really fits as I wanted it, if the color composition is great against the background. And then of course it was time to color this cut out in, because if you just glue it on there, colorful and plain as it is, it just would look a bit off in the end. It should have some shading to make it work within the piece, to make it, you know, combine with the piece. Otherwise it in the end would look kind of wrong, you know? And what better method to color in a planet than using an airbrush, which I love using for this method. I use just black and just pure white, rent over the edges, so white over the upper edge where the sunlight is going to hit it, and black over the bottom side, which is the planet turning into the dark, so the night side. Of course, due to the swipe, this is more like a gas giant look, so if you want to have a inhabitable planet look like Earth, you should perhaps go there and paint it, because you can only get this gas giant look when you make the swipes. Once this was done, I just glued it onto my artwork and waited until the glue was completely dry. I then went over with my airbrush again using the white just to make it combine with the piece itself, to have a feathered edge, so really a transition from the planet into my painting. Once this was done, I just used white acrylic and painted some stars, used the stiff brush and sprinkled some acrylic paint over there to give it a more three-dimensional look, and then actually everything was done that I was going for at stage 2. But something was still missing. I really pretty much liked everything that I saw on the canvas, but it felt like a bit more sparkle is needed. Said and done, I grabbed some of my little glass nuggets and placed it around the planet, making them look like a planet ring. I was not sure if it was a wise decision to do this, because the rest of the painting is completely even, glossy, finished in the end. But I did this with the Miriam challenge, and I will link the video here in this video as well in case you have not seen it, which was among my most prettiest results ever, so you really should have a look at this video. And yeah, just place the glass nuggets and put some glitter on top of them, poured the clear resin over the entire other piece, and I used the clear resin with black glitter in there for the deep dark base part on the upper edge. So just to have it more sparkle in the end when the sunlight hits it. And that's everything that I did. Of course, as usual, I filmed everything in sunlight in the end, just to give you the complete sparkle look of it. I hope you'll like it. I really had a blast making this. And Suzana, again, thank you for challenging me for the puddle pour. It was great to try it with resin. I really loved how this one turned out. And yeah, I really cannot wait to hear what you think. I know you liked the video, so please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so far, please also subscribe to my channel, hit the bell icon to get notifications, and share the video with everyone you know who also is a space nerd. The materials that I've used are linked down below in the video description, as well as my social media links and everything you need to get in touch with me. If you have some spare space on your walls, my Etsy store is full of pretty pieces waiting to be picked up for a new home. And other than that, I hope to see you in my next video. Have a great day. Bye bye.